One name echoes through the corridors of scientific history with unparalleled reverence: Albert Einstein. A man whose name has become synonymous with genius, whose theories shattered the limits of human understanding, and whose legacy changed not just science, but the way we see the universe itself. Albert Einstein's story begins in Ulm, Germany, on March 14, 1879. Born to a middle-class Jewish family, there was little to suggest that young Albert would one day revolutionize physics. In fact, as a child, Einstein did not speak fluently until the age of 4, an unusual delay that caused his parents to worry. His teachers described him as quiet, even withdrawn. But there was always something peculiar about his mind. He asked questions, not just the typical whys of childhood, but profound, relentless questions about how the world worked. The first spark of wonder came when his father handed him a simple compass. Albert was mesmerized. How did the needle know where to point? What invisible force governed its movement? That compass became a symbol of his lifelong pursuit of hidden truths, forces, and principles that operated beneath the visible world. Contrary to legend, Einstein was not a poor student, quite the opposite. But he did struggle with the rigidity of traditional education. He found the rote memorization and authoritarian structure stifling, uninspiring. To his teachers, he was a rebel, unwilling to toe the line. To Einstein, school was an obstacle to real learning. This tension almost derailed his academic career, but it also shaped the independent, unconventional thinker he would later become. At the heart of Einstein's genius was not just intellect, but imagination. He once wrote, "Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination encircles the world." In his late teens, Einstein began conducting mental experiments, thought experiments, as he called them. He would imagine himself chasing a beam of light across the universe, or riding on a train moving at the speed of light. These wild, hypothetical scenarios weren't just fantasies, they were seeds of revolutionary ideas. In 1905, while working as a clerk in a Swiss patent office, Einstein unleashed what history now remembers as his miracle year, a year that transformed the landscape of physics forever. He published 4 papers in a scientific journal, each groundbreaking in its own right. Let's pause to consider what this young man, barely 26 years old, accomplished in the span of 12 months. One paper quantified the movement of particles in liquids, providing empirical proof for the atomic theory of matter. Another revealed the photoelectric effect, showing that light behaves as both a wave and a particle, a discovery that earned him the Nobel Prize in Physics years later. A third paper introduced special relativity, a theory so deeply radical that it upended centuries of classical physics. And finally, in a single equation, E=mc2, he demonstrated the relationship between energy and mass, shaking the foundations of human understanding. These ideas were not born in isolation. Einstein's theories emerged from a confluence of previous discoveries, but he possessed something uniquely rare: the ability to see connections where others saw chaos. He didn't just solve problems, he reframed them, turned them inside out, and in doing so, uncovered new dimensions of truth. Yet Einstein's journey was not without struggle. His theories were met with skepticism by some and outright ridicule by others. It took nearly a decade for special relativity, and its general counterpart, which expanded the concept to include gravity, to gain widespread acceptance. In 1915, Einstein presented his general theory of relativity, a masterpiece that redefined gravity as the warping of space-time itself. Imagine space as a fabric, and planets, stars, and massive objects as weights pressing into it. Gravity, instead of being an invisible pull, became the bending of this cosmic fabric. It was a beautiful, elegant idea that reshaped astrophysics. 4 years later, in 1919, a total solar eclipse proved him right. Astronomers observed light bending around the sun, just as Einstein had predicted. Overnight, he became a global sensation. His unkempt hair, rumpled clothes, and eccentric mannerisms only added to his mystique. Einstein was no longer just a scientist. He was a cultural icon, hailed as the face of human genius. But fame was a double-edged sword. Einstein used his platform not for self-aggrandizement, but for advocacy. He was a staunch pacifist, speaking out against militarism at a time when Europe teetered on the brink of war. When the Nazis rose to power in Germany, Einstein, a Jew, became a target of their hatred. By 1933, he fled to the United States, leaving behind his homeland forever. He took refuge at Princeton University, where he joined the Institute for Advanced Study. Despite the challenges, Einstein remained committed to his principles and continued his scientific pursuits, using his voice to advocate for peace and understanding in a troubled world. As war loomed, Einstein faced an agonizing moral dilemma. In 1939, he signed a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, warning that Nazi scientists were working to develop an atomic bomb. This letter catalyzed the Manhattan Project, the secret U.S. initiative to build nuclear weapons. Though Einstein himself had no direct role in the project, his equation, EHmc2, had made such a bomb theoretically possible. The devastation wrought by Hiroshima and Nagasaki haunted him for the rest of his life. The man who had unlocked the secrets of the universe now grappled with the weight of unintended consequences. In his later years, Einstein turned his focus to what he called the ultimate question, the pursuit of a unified theory that would connect all the forces of nature under one framework. He dedicated decades to this quest, but never found the answers he sought. Some see this as a failure. Others see it as an enduring testament to his intellectual courage. Even after achieving more than most could dream, he never stopped seeking, questioning, imagining. Beyond his scientific contributions, Einstein remains an enduring symbol of humility, creativity, and moral responsibility. He famously said, "Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value." And value he brought, immeasurable, timeless value, not just to science, but to humanity as a whole. His discoveries gave us insights into the cosmos and ourselves, from the smallest particles of matter to the vast galaxies that stretch across the night sky. When Einstein died in 1955, his brain was preserved for study, as if humanity couldn't bear to let go of what made him extraordinary. But the truth is, Einstein's genius cannot be reduced to mere biology. It was a combination of daring imagination, tireless curiosity, and a willingness to challenge convention. His life reminds us that the universe is vast, mysterious, and brimming with wonders waiting to be discovered. All we need to do is ask the right questions. Albert Einstein changed the course of science forever. But more than that, he changed the way we think about the power of human curiosity, the spark that drives us to explore, to understand, and to imagine a better world. And in that sense, the story of Albert Einstein is not just a tale of one man's brilliance. It's a call to all of us to dream boldly, think deeply, and never stop reaching for the stars.